you. During last class, we were discuss about cancer disease. So, the cancer disease cancer basically the cancer and erythrocytosis generally refers to many different plant disease of such broadly similar symptoms as the appearance of small areas of dead tissues, so which grow slowly, often over years. So some are of only minor consequence, but others are ultimately lethal and therefore of major economic importance in agriculture and horticulture. So their causes include such as wide range of organisms, fungi, bacteria, mycoplasma, and viruses. So the majority of cancer-causing organisms are specific to a specific host species or genus, but a few will attack other plants. So the animals and weather can spread the cancer. So thereby endangering are that have only slight amount of canker, although the fungicides, bactericide can treat some cancers. Often the only available treatment is to destroy the infected plant to contain the disease. So basically, these are the symptoms of different kinds of disease in the plants. After that, the canker, which will be basically occur in different plants, or the causal organism will be also different. Apple canker, which caused by the fungus Neonacteria galangena. Ash bacterial canker. Now it is understood to be caused by the bacterium that is Pseudomonas rather than the Pseudomonas syringae. Butternut canker caused by the fungus Serococcus clavigenetii. Fourth one, bleeding canker of horse cashew nut caused by the bacterium Pseudomonas syringae. Citrus canker caused by the bacterium Xanthomonas xenopodis. Cypress canker caused by the fungus that is Ceridium. So this kind, the canker which occur in different plant, and the pathogen will be also different. Like mulberry canker caused by the fungus Xibrella buctata, oak canker caused by the fungus Diplodia, pine peach canker caused by the fungus Fusarium pinni, plain anthracnose caused by the fungus Apiogomonia, poplar canker which caused by the bacterium Xanthomonas populi, rapeseed stem canker which caused by the blackleg fungus, rose canker caused by Leptospira, southwest canker which caused by the environmental conditions like cold and sun, tomato anthracnose caused by the fungus Coletotrichum coccidus, willow anthracnose which caused by the fungus Marsonina salicicola. So this kind, the canker disease which cause in different plant by different pathogens. Now next disease is vascular wilt. Vascular wilt, like according to the name, basically the disease which caused by or caused in the vascular system of the plant. Vascular wilt disease are caused by the pathogenic fungi, bacteria or nematode that enter the water conducting xylem vessels of a plant, then proliferate within the vessels, then causing the water blockage. Because according to the name of the disease, the pathogenic fungus or bacteria which will be directly attacked to the vascular system of the plant. So due to this, they will be blocked the area of the water, or the transportation area of the water will be blocked by the particular bacteria or fungi. So by which they will be blockage the area, and then due to the lack of the water in the plant, there will be caused the wilt. So wilt disease in woody plants tend to fall into two major categories. Those that start with the branches most often start with pathogens that feed on the leaves or bark. So those that start with the root start with the wounding or direct entry by the pathogen into the root. Some are spread from one plant to another by way of root graft. So this kind, they will be entered through the system of the plant, but basically they will be affect the vascular bundles of the plant. So the typical symptoms include wilting and death of the leaves, often followed by the death or serious impairment of the whole plant. So as a group, therefore the vascular wilts are among the most devastating plant disease. Pine wilt is caused by the North American native pine wood nematode. So this kind, the vascular wilt disease, in which the particular plant will be wilt, and due to this the plant will be die. So these are the symptoms of the vascular disease of the plant. So here you can see in first, that is the structure of the stem, in which the particular coloring area which infected by the pathogen. In another diagram, you can see like the leaves of the particular plant which is wilt and they are died. So this kind, in third diagram here, you can see two types of plant is there, two varieties of plant is there. One is resistant, another is susceptible. So the susceptible variety, which is generally infected with the pathogen, and another resistant variety, here the pathogen can't cause the wilt. In this, we can see that the banana plant is there. So leaf of the plant is totally wilt. So due to the wilting, it will be directly cause the effect on the yield of the crop. So there are several interesting features of these diseases. For example, blockage of the xylem vessels is not necessarily caused by the pathogens themselves, but often by the host reaction to invasion, the production of gel-like material which serves as potential barriers to spread of the pathogen in the vessels. In addition, some of the symptoms like such as common yellowing of the leaves, Loss of control or stomatal function may are caused by toxin produced by the pathogen. So due to the production of the toxins by the pathogen, it will be cause the harmful effect on the plant. But perhaps the most interesting point is that the pathogen have only a weak ability to invade living plant tissues. Instead, they grow in the nutrient poor condition of the water conducting vessels, and they only grow into the rest of plant when it has been weakened or killed by the water stress. So if the favorable conditions will be not there, in that case, if there is no proper water conducting vessels are not there and they only grow into the rest of the plant when it has been weakened or killed by the water stress. Next disease is crown gall disease. So crown gall, which caused by the bacteria belonging to the genus and species that is Agrobacterium tumefaciens. Agrobacterium tumefaciens. So this bacterium can infect a wide range of herbaceous and woody plants. So the bacterium only carries the gall-causing entity, a plasmid that contains its own genetic material. After the bacterium enters the host, the plasmid DNA is transferred into the host plant cell where it stimulates the production of more plant cells. So basically, galls or overgrowth of host plant tissue typically form at the soil line but also can form on branches or roots. Like generally in this disease, there is the formation of the gall in the form of the outgrowth. So galls are initially white, spherical and soft but darken with the age as outer cells die. So the galls can either be almost entirely on the surface of the plant and easily detached, or can be almost indistinguishable from normal plant tissue except for its greatly enlarged appearance. So the bacterium survives and persists in the soil for many years. So whenever the new crop will be there or the new plant will be there, then again the pathogen will be active and then again it will be increase or cause their effect into the plant. So bacteria invades the recent wound on stems or root. Swelling can be seen 14 days following entry. So tissue near the gall is crushed. If vascular tissue is crushed, then wilting can result from the restricted water movement. So in this diagram, you can see the crown gall disease. So the crown gall disease, here a outgrowth is there. So sometime the outgrowth will be also burst and then the other pathogen which can also enter into the plant by this way. The next disease is root rot. Root rot, which will be occur in the roots. So condition found in both indoor and outdoor plants, although more common in indoor plants with poor drainage. This is a result of overwatering in house plants. It is a very common problem and is slightly less common in outdoor plants. Because whenever there will be the waterlogging condition, waterlogging wherever the water will be stored and on the surface of the soil. So in that condition, the plant which can't obtain the proper oxygen due to the waterlogging condition or due to the overwatering. So that is the main reason of root rot disease. So the root rot basically found in the indoor plants because they always in shaded area, so the level of the water and the overwatering condition will be there. So there are two causes for root rot. Main cause is poorly drained or overwater soil. Like in both type of condition, like if the soil is poorly drained or waterlogged also. So we always have to manage the normal soil condition. It should be not poorly drained or it should be not waterlogging or not over waterlogging. So these suggy conditions prevent roots from absorbing all the oxygen they require to life. Because if less oxygen will be there, then the root of the plant which can't grow. So as the oxygen is starved, roots die and decay. Their root can spread to healthier roots even if the soggy conditions have been rectified. So to prevent the root rot, we always overcome or always avoid the overwater flowing or also poorly drained conditions. Because if overwatering is there, then no proper oxygen is there, and due to this, it will be cause the root rot disease. So weakened roots are more susceptible to soil fungus, which is another cause of root rot. So the fungus may be present but dormant in the soil for a long time. When the soil becomes waterlogged, the spores can come to life and attack the root and causing them to root and die. Because in humid area or basically in more waterlogging condition, the fungus which can easily grow there. So some of the more well-known species of fungi that thrive in moist condition and cause root rot are Phythium, Phytophthora, Rhizoctonia and Fusarium species. Another notorious fungus is Armillaria, which is also known as shoestring rot, which cause a lot of damage to hardwood and conifers. So, except the Phythium, Phytophthora, Rhizoctonia, Fusarium, the Armillaria species, which also can cause the root rot disease of plant. So these are the symptoms of the root rot disease of the plant. Here the bunch of the roots, which is like black in color, and these are not poorly developed. So this kind of condition due to the water logging condition. So if water logging condition will be there, then no proper aeration, then no proper oxygen. That's why the root growth will be not there. So up to here we discussed about the diseases. Now I am giving a quiz to you. Like there are some diseases are there. Like which disease of plant is known as ring disease? Name the disease of plant in which large yellow Now I am giving a quiz. So you have to solve the quiz. So basically you have to, there are the symptoms of the disease. Bunchy top of banana. So just solve the quiz, and if any difficulty you will found, then we will discuss about that too. So in next video lecture, we will talk about the disease triangle. Like what is disease triangle? What are the requirements for the disease? If you will found any difficulties, then we will discuss. Thank you. Sorry, beta, there was the network issue, okay? That's why I lost my connection. Okay, we were talking about dispersal via human beings, okay? So, first is transportation of seeds, because many diseases, those are the seed-borne diseases, so they will be spread through the seed, okay? So whenever the seed, those are transport from one place to another place, then like where import and export of contaminated seeds without proper precaution. For example, lead blight of potato, downy mildew of grapevine, citrus canker, fusarium wilt of banana, etc. Then planting diseases and planting diseased seed material. So planting diseased bulbs, bulbils, cones, tubers, rhizome, cutting, etc. of vegetatively propagated plant such as like potato, sweet potato, cassava, sugarcane, banana, many ornamental and fruit trees, etc. Okay, so basically, these all are the planting diseased seed material. Like sometime we just cut the vegetative part of the plant, and then again there will be planting of the new plant. In that case, if the vegetative part is infected by some diseases, then it will be also in the new plant. Okay, like whenever there is the showing of the potato, then always the tubers are we just use the tubers of potato. So if tubers of potato those are already infected, that means they will be also cause the disease at the new place. So this kind the diseases will be transferred. Then during adoption of normal farming practice, that is spores and other external structures of fungi can be carried by workers, clothing, shoes and hands etc. कभी भी देखते हो हम लोग जैसे नॉर्मली फार्म पे जाके आता है विजिट के लिए भी, अगर कोई प्लांट जो है वहाँ पे फील्ड पे अगर वो डिजीज्ड प्लांट है तो हम लोग उससे टच हो जाते हैं, है ना। और वहाँ से आने के बाद अगर हम और कहीं जाते हैं तो जाहिर सी बात है कि जो पैथोजन है जिससे हम लोग टच हुए हैं या जो डिजीज वाला पार्ट है जिससे हम लोग टच हुए हैं, तो सेम जो इन्फेक्शन है वो दूसरे प्लांट्स में भी हो जाएगा। ओके, so there is the adoption of normal farming practices. Then by use of contaminated implements, so there through implements, instruments used in various cultural operations like weddings, thinning, hoeing, etc. Then by use of diseased grafting and budding material, that is grafting and budding between healthy and diseased plant. कभी भी हम लोग ग्राफ्टिंग और बडिंग करते हैं। ग्राफ्टिंग लाइक हम लोग प्लांट्स के ऊपर ही किसी भी एक पर्टिकुलर पार्ट को कट करके अगर उसी अदर प्लांट का कोई पार्ट उस पर लगाते हैं, वो होती है ग्राफ्टिंग। तो ये हमें ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि जिससे हम लोग ग्राफ्टिंग वाला पार्ट कट कर रहे हैं वो प्लांट, एंड जिस पे हम लोग उसको लगाना चाह रहे हैं वो, सो दोनों कैसे होने चाहिए, हेल्दी होनी चाहिए, अदरवाइज डिजीज कॉज करने के चांसेस बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ जाते हैं। देन डिस्पर्जल वाया फिंड्रोगैमिक पैरासाइट। फिंड्रोगैमिक पैरासाइट का मतलब होता है ऐसे प्लांट लाइक फिंड्रोगैमिक, ऐसे प्लांट्स होते हैं जो कि फ्लावरिंग प्लांट जो होते हैं दोज विल बी कॉल्ड फिंड्रोगैमिक। ठीक है, तो वो प्लांट क्या होते हैं, दूसरे प्लांट्स पे एज ए पैरासाइट्स फीड करते हैं। सो ट्रांसमिट द वायरसेस बाय एक्टिंग एज ए ब्रिज between the diseased and healthy plant. Then dispersal via birds, that is important in dissemination of seeds of flowering parasite and certain fungi. So cross feeding on the fleshy, sticky and gelatinous barriers of giant, then it deposits the seed on the other trees with excreta. Seeds of Loranthus are disseminated by birds by sticking on their beaks and excreta. And the spores of cashew nut blight fungus, that is Endothea parasitica, are disseminated by more than 18 species of birds. इसलिए हम लोग कह सकते हैं like dispersal throughout the phaeogamic parasite. So these are, there will be a dispersal of the pathogen by different ways, like soil-borne diseases are there, so the pathogen which remains active in the soil. Then seed-borne diseases, the pathogen which infect the seed. So whenever we will be showing of the seed, then the disease will be dispersed. Dispersal via human beings, via phaeogamic parasite, by birds, by human beings, etc. And at the end, dispersal via farm and wild animals. So in which, like cattle feeding on diseased fodder, pass out fungal propagules, spores or oospores or sclerotia in dung used as a manure, spread diseases in the field and act as a source of inoculum. Okay, so these all are the ways of dispersal of the disease by different ways. After that, indirect or passive dispersal. Firstly, we talk about the direct or active dispersal, because whenever somebody which directly contact with the diseased plant and after that they will be contact with the healthy plant, then directly they infect the healthy plant, or we can say that the disease is spread. Okay. Now, indirect or passive dispersal. So passive dispersal of plant pathogen happens through animate and inanimate agents. Okay, like अब तक हमने जो पढ़ा वो था डायरेक्ट डिस्पर्जल बाय एनिमेट और इनएनिमेट एजेंट. अब है इनडायरेक्ट और पेसिव डिस्पर्जल. So firstly, let's come to the inanimate agents. So first is dispersal via wind. So that is called anemochory of fungi. So spores adopted for short distance dispersal, sporangia of downy mildew fungi, conidia of powdery mildew fungi, and basidiospores of rust fungi. So basically the dispersal of these spores through the wind. Okay. बेसिकली क्या होता है, जो स्पोर्स मोटाइल नहीं होते या जो स्पोर्स एक जगह से दूसरी जगह मूव नहीं कर सकते, बेसिकली उनका जो डिस्पर्सल होता है वो इनएक्टिव टाइप का होता है और मोस्टली वो होता है थ्रू द विंड. ओके, जैसे ही ज़्यादा तेज हवा चलती है तो जो स्पोर्स होते हैं वो एक प्लेस से दूसरे प्लेस पे चले जाते हैं. ओके, लाइक थ्रू द विंड, थ्रू द वाटर. तो ये क्या हो गया, इनडायरेक्ट हो गया. डायरेक्टली वो होता है जिसमें कि कोई भी वेक्टर या फिर कोई भी ऐसी थिंग जो कि डायरेक्टली कांटेक्ट में आती है पैथोजन के, and then directly it will be spread at the another place. Okay, then spores adapted to long distance dispersal. So first is uridospores of rust fungi, chlamydospores of smut fungi, and conidia of alternaria, helminthosporium, and pyricularia. After that, distance at height. So there is the uridospores of Puccinia graminis triticae, that is 14,000 feet above the infected wheat fields. Alternaria spores at 8,000 feet, that is Puccinia recondita and Chronitium rubicola spores at 12,500 feet. So that can travel more than 1,000 miles in about 2 days without losing their viability. Like कुछ अभी भी देखा करो जिनका भी पेसिव ट्रांसपोर्टेशन होता है या फिर जो डिस्पर्जल होता है वो अगर पेसिव होता है तो उसमें कुछ ऐसी एबिलिटीज होती हैं ताकि वो बहुत लंबे टाइम तक के लिए वाइबल हो। अगर उनमें ऐसा कुछ स्पेशल नहीं होगा तो वो कभी भी एक जगह से दूसरी जगह डिस्पर्स नहीं हो पाएंगे। जैसे एयर क्या होती है, बहुत तेज चलती है जब ट्रांसपोर्टेशन होता है, उस ड्यूरेशन अगर उनकी वायबिलिटी खत्म हो जाएगी, दैट मीन्स उसके बाद वो ग्रो नहीं कर सकते। तो इनमें कुछ ऐसी स्पेशलाइज्ड स्ट्रक्चर होती है जिसकी वजह से ये बहुत लंबे टाइम तक रहते हैं और ये कितनी भी हाइट पे जाके अपने आप को ग्रो कर सकते हैं। So if the uridospores reach an altitude of 5,000 feet, their distance dispersal in 30 mil per hour could be about 1,100 miles without losing their viability. Then through the inanimate agents. So dispersal via wind of nematodes. पहले वाला जो हमने पढ़ा था वो पढ़ा था फंजाई का डिस्पर्जल होना एयर के थ्रू, अब है डिस्पर्जल वाया विंड ऑफ nematodes. So that is the crest of nematode and also the seeds of phanerogamic parasites. For example, like crest of the nematode Heterodera that measures which causes molia disease of wheat and barley are carried by dust storm from Rajasthan to Haryana. एक कॉमन डिजीज होती है, नेम सुना होगा, मोलिया, बहुत ज़्यादा कॉमन डिजीज है। तो ये क्या होती है, एक निमेटोड से कोज की हुई डिजीज होती है और इसका जो डिस्पर्जल होता है वो निमेटोड के थ्रू होता है, निमेटोड के थ्रू ये कोज होती है। तो ये जो डिजीज है वो पहले कहाँ थी, ओनली ऑन राजस्थान, ओके, but the dispersal of the disease through the wind in Haryana also. So now the same disease also happen in Haryana. Okay, तो इस तरीके से होता है passive dispersal. Then dispersal via wind of bacteria, that is example is Irvina amylora, the causal agent of fire blight of apple and pear, which produces fine strands of dried bacterial exudates which may be broken off and are transmitted by wind. So viruses and phytoplasma are not directly transmitted by wind, but the insect and mites are vector. Okay, so always the viruses or phytoplasma, those require vector to spread the diseases, and the remaining like fungus, nematodes, they will be dispersed through the wind. Then dispersal via water, that is called hydrochory. Hydro, which is related to the water. So less important than air in long distance transport of pathogen. तो क्या होता है बेसिकली लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस पे जो ट्रांसमिशन होता है या फिर जो डिस्पर्जल होता है वो होता है एयर के थ्रू एज कंपेयर टू द वाटर. ओके. So more efficient as the pathogens land on the wet surface and can germinate immediately. Water dissemination occurs mainly through surface, running water and rain splash, then short distance with rains off during irrigation from canals and wells. Example like mycelial fragments, spores or sclerotia of fungi, that is Coleotrichum, Fusarium, Gonioderma, Macroplasmonemia, Phythium, Phytophthora, Sclerotium, etc. So the long distance dispersal. Long distance dispersal is also possible by water only when the fluids like जब वाटर का फ्लो बहुत ज़्यादा तेज होगा या फिर जब वाटर बहुत ज़्यादा होगा उसी केस में वाटर के द्वारा जो डिस्पर्जल होता है वो लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस तक हो सकता है अदरवाइज नहीं. ओके. Then next is phenomenon of infection or infection process. Up to here, we just complete the dispersal through the direct or indirect and through the animate agents or inanimate agents. So in inanimate agent like through the wind and through the water, or in animate agents all types of animals those can spread the diseases. Okay. So in next class we will discuss about what is the phenomenon of infection and how the infection will be caused in a new animal, and how we can control and how the infection will be occur, what is the procedure of infection, and after that how we have to manage the diseases or infection. Up to here any problem?
नो मैम.
समझ आ गया बेटा सब?
हाँ जी मैम.
एक बार पढ़ लेना
मैम ये
अगर समझ
पीडीएफ
में.
शेयर कर देना एक बार आप.
हाँ ये वाला मैं कर दूंगी, इससे पहले वाला मैंने कंप्लीट कर दिया है ना.
हाँ
ये
जी
वाला
मैम.
मैं और शेयर कर दूंगी, पहले फर्स्ट वाला कंप्लीट कर लेना उसके बाद ये वाला शुरू करना. ठीक है.
ओके.
ओके बेटा, यू मे लीव नाउ.